Hello everyone and welcome. Today in the arena we are playing the deck that shall not be named. I'm kidding. You know it, you love it. It's Dimir Blink. For those of you that have been playing Standard recently, you probably know this deck like the back of your hand. It's all over the place on the ladder. For those of you who have not played Standard recently and are just getting into it, if you haven't already, you will run into this deck quite often. Probably more than any other deck in Standard currently. The reason why I say that is this deck is very powerful. So powerful that some Magic players are calling for some of the cards in this deck to be banned. We'll get to that later. But ultimately, the goal of this deck is to use cheap artifacts and enchantments to rip your opponent's resources off the battlefield, out of their hands, and then use bounce spells to get those same cards you just played back into your hand, and then replay it again, over and over and over again, until your opponent has nothing and they just have to play off the top of their deck. So let's get into the deck, let's go over on how it works. You have Stormchaser's Talent, a way to get some otters with prowess onto the battlefield and a way to get some instant and sorceries back from the graveyard to your hand. Very good talent enchantment to play. Artifact from Ether Drift, Grim Bauble, very powerful artifact. 1 mana for -2/-2 to any of your opponent's creatures. Very early removal, one of the best cards in Ether Drift in my opinion. You have Hopeless Nightmare, old card from Standard, from Wilds of Eldraine. 1 mana, rip a card out of your opponent's hand, they lose 2 life. The cool thing about these 2 cards is you can activate the ability, if you need to, later in the game, to dig through your deck to try and find answers or to find a closer to finish off your opponent. Some other cards we have, Go for the Throat, premium removal. Momentum Breaker, probably one of the best cards out of Ether Drift. It's a 2 mana enchantment, start your engines. You can sacrifice it later to gain life if it's applicable. Very unlikely that you'll need to do that, but you never know. There's a lot of mono red running around. But ultimately when you play this, your opponent has to sacrifice a creature or a vehicle. Here's the kicker. If they can't, they have to discard a card out of their hand. This card is never dead. The only time it is dead is if your opponent has no cards in hand, has nothing on the battlefield to sacrifice, but at that point you just keep it into your hand until you need to use it. It's so good. Probably one of the best cards out of Ether Drift. Nowhere to Run, enchantment, 2 mana, flash, -3/-3 to a creature. Gets through small indestructible creatures, gets through ward, gets through hexproof. Enough said. Now how do you get to play these over and over and over again? Well, Fear of Isolation, a 2 mana 2/3 flyer. Part of the casting of this spell is you have to return a permanent you control to your hand. So you can return back Hopeless Nightmare. Some common lines are play Hopeless Nightmare, play Fear of Isolation, bounce back Hopeless Nightmare, play it again. At that point, they've discarded 2 cards, you have a 2/3 flyer that they have to deal with. Same thing with the removal spells. You have Get Out, very good counter spell that hits creatures and enchantments. You never know when you need that. Very good in the mirror match. But you can also return 1 or 2 target creatures and or enchantments that you own back to your hand. So Hopeless Nightmare, Grim Bauble, Nowhere to Run, Momentum Breaker. You can see where this is getting out of hand. Now the card that most people are saying that needs to be banned. This town ain't big enough. 5 mana, instant speed. Return up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. You can target your opponent's stuff, you can target your stuff. The cool thing is, it costs 3 less to cast if you target a permanent you control. Just 1. So you can target one of your opponent's things plus one of your things to make it cost only 2 mana. If you want to target 2 of your own enchantments, like a Hopeless Nightmare and a Momentum Breaker, feel free to do so. That is completely fine. If you have something that you don't have removal for, like Go for the Throat can't hit artifacts, if they have a big Gearhulk on their side, you can just bounce it to their hand and bounce back your Hopeless Nightmare and make them discard it later. It's all very good. The new card from Ether Drift as well that we're running, creature-wise to help with mono red strategies in Best of 1, is Oildeep Gearhulk. It's a 4 mana 4/4 lifelink and ward, and when it enters, you can look at your opponent's hand, pick a card. If you do, they have to discard it, and then they draw a card to replace it. Some things to note about this. As I mentioned, against mono red, goblins, white weenie, anything that's taking your life down quickly, it's a good blocker that has lifelink, so it's a way to stop an attack but also gain life in the process. But also in the more mid-range and control matchups that you'll be playing, you do get to control their hand a little bit. Among with all this other stuff that you've used to discard their entire hand, when they're playing off the top of their deck, they have 1 or 2 cards in hand. You can use this to rip that card out of their hand and make them replace it with a card off the top of their deck. If they have nothing in their hand, just trash in their hand, make them keep it. It's a May ability. It's very good. The land suite, blue and black lands. Nothing special. We do have Restless Reef as a man land that can turn into a 4/4 creature to help us get through that last bit of damage that Oildeep Gearhulk, Fear of Isolation, and the Otters from Stormchaser's talent can't get through. Overall, and as I mentioned, very good deck, very powerful deck. It's very fun to play if you like making choices. Their possibilities are endless with this deck. Try it. Try it if you haven't already. But all right, let's get into the games. If you like what you see, drop me a like. Feel free to subscribe. All the support is much appreciated. And as always, stay awesome. Bounce with it, bounce with it, bounce with it. We going to bounce with it on Hutton. What's up, Hutton? Opponent goes first. We got Grim Bauble shenanigans and a bunch of stuff to replay it. We'll keep. This isn't the best hand, but we'll try it. This might be a very good hand considering what our opponent's opening play is. So we're going to play a Swamp. Hit him with the Grim Bauble. Hopefully that's enough to make him concede. Wouldn't that be something? I doubt it. And doesn't seem like the person to concede just like that. Yep. Yep. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and play this. We don't really have a play besides playing our bird. We have Grim Bauble for next turn. We will block. There's no reason not to. Make him have something. Yeah, we'll block the 1/2. That's fine. Make him have it. We still trade. Alright, so now we can... he's out of Grim Bauble range now. He is out of the Grim Bauble range. So what we need to do is be able to play Grim Bauble, Fear of Isolation, and then Grim Bauble again. Fortunately, we don't have the stuff to do that, so we're going to pass. We do have Get Out, so we'll be able to counter whatever creature he wants to play. We'll go ahead and counter it. He's running out of gas. He has 1 card in hand. Yep, he's probably going to buff it. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, that's what we're going to do this turn. We're going to Grim Bauble, Fear of Isolation, Grim Bauble. Or we can just do that. Now I still like doing this. I still like doing the Grim Bauble plan because it's an answer to the Hired Claw. It's an answer to the Hired Claw, and then we can use Momentum Breaker for later stuff. There we go. Hired Claw number 3 down. All right, opponent, what do you have? Land. Go. Let's attack. We're going to go ahead and play a Momentum Breaker, get that last card out of his hand. Shock. This town ain't big enough. We'll be able to get us our stuff back. Could bounce his own thing as well. We are in the driver's seat. No pun intended. We'll just bring our thing back to our hand. Right. And he concedes. Dimir Bounce. Beating the mono red scum. The Angel of Death. That's what we called the AC-130 back in the Call of Duty days. Opponent goes first. I don't really have much going on when it comes to like hand disruption, but we're gonna keep it. Looks like we might be playing the mirror match. We are ahead. We have the Stormchaser's talent out. He has priority, so he has something. We're gonna cut down my otter. It's almost as if I know how to play Magic from time to time. He does nothing with his turn. Okay. I think what we're gonna do is play a Restless Reef. We'll go ahead and get another Stormchaser's talent out. Fairy Mastermind, you got it. Ooh, Grim Bauble was a perfect draw. Alright, so we're gonna play Grim Bauble. If he wants to counter it, so be it. We'll hit him with the Momentum Breaker. If he so chooses. What are we doing? Okay. Another Fairy Mastermind. You got it. We're gonna go ahead and hit him with this Momentum Breaker. 2 creatures off the board. That should slow him down quite a bit. Put him in the back seat. Shieldred. I'd be ashamed if someone were to go for the throw that. Grim Bauble. Gonna attack. Go ahead and get this out now. We'll take back Momentum Breaker. Let's see what the Angel of Death has to do on his turn. It's gonna cut down my fear of isolation. Very rude. Alright, well, let's make him discard. He has priority, so he may have a cut down. No. Binder. That's fine. I don't think he did it the way that was supposed to happen. Yeah, he did that wrong. Or he thought it did things that it doesn't. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and crack this Bauble since we have another one in hand. Try and smooth out our draws. Yep, see, we don't want all these swamps. So we're going to draw a Stormchaser's Talent instead. Let's play it. I think he has another binder. Tide binder. So we're going to attack with our 2/2 first. Flipwit's Drowner. So he's going to tap my stuff. You got it. Well, let's, I don't really think I care about this, so we're going to go ahead and just level 2 one of our Stormchaser's talents. Get back or go for the throat. So you can shuffle our otter if he wants. Yeah, let's just Grim Bauble his Drowner. He let the stun counter go away, so he can't get my otter anymore. Go ahead and attack. Unfortunately, I can't. I mean, I could level 2 something, but it's not going to get anything back. So I'm just going to pass turn with the mana up. We can either crack Grim Bauble or have go for the throat up for whatever creature he decides to play. That's a creature that we can kill. He knows we had go for the throat in hand. So I'm not sure what the activation is all about. Let's go ahead and level 2, get back our go for the throat. Attack for 2. Go ahead, opponent. Land. Enduring Curiosity, eh? Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do this and that. Probably should have did that on my turn to get the prowess triggers, but it's okay. We're going to go ahead and Momentum Breaker. If he gets rid of the Curiosity, he does not. He got rid of Phantom Interference. Yeah, we can Restless Reef. And gonna make him mill. He goes down to 1 and concedes. Angel of Death. You got bounced. Lejadal. I go first. If you insist. I'm going to start off with that Darkslick Shores and pass. Red white. Heartfire Hero. Well, looks like the Heartfire Hero has nowhere to run. We're going to go ahead and do it now. So it doesn't get big to get above the 3/3. I'm not exactly sure what opponent could have to get it above that. But we're going to go ahead and knock it out now. That's a slick shot show off. I think now's a good time to get our bird out. Now we have double nowhere to run in case we need to get a little frisky. Nowhere to run number 3. We're going to attack. And then we'll go ahead and play the Gearhulk. I'm not exactly sure what he plans on doing at instant speed, but we'll go ahead and play it now. Let's see what our opponent has going on in hand. Sheltered by Ghost. Sheltered by Ghost. Feather of Flight. Ethereal Armor. And Enduring Innocence. Enduring Innocence can be a little troublesome. The Sheltered by Ghost is kind of annoying too. We're going to get the Enduring Innocence. Don't really want them to have extra card draw. If they had one Sheltered by Ghosts, I may consider taking that. No, he's going to go ahead and... No, he's not. I think he didn't realize that Gearhulk has Ward. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and do that. Yep. All right. Well, we're going to know where to run probably both of his guys next turn. Ooh, Momentum Breaker. Yeah, let's know where to run now on the show off. Actually, we're going to do the Scamp, so it can't really hurt us. And we're going to do another Nowhere to Run on the show off. I want to try and get this Momentum Breaker to attack his hand, so we're going to hit him with the Nowhere to Run on the show off as well. That may be enough to make him concede, to be honest. The writing is kind of on the wall. Tap land. Manifold Mouse. Offspringed it. Well, Momentum Breaker is not as good as I wanted it to be for this turn. That's fine. Get out's pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and we're gonna keep Nowhere to Run in hand because it has flash. We'll go ahead and kill the 1/1 mouse here, I'm sure. Yep. We're gonna go ahead and attack. This gives hexproof, right? Genie creature has +1/+0 and lifelink. It does not have hexproof, so we're good. What enchantment am I thinking of that gives hexproof? Like in response? Yeah, that doesn't have flash. We're good. I've never actually played with this card. I've played against it many times. For some reason, I thought it had flash. GG, opponent. Now bounce out of here. HTQ. I go first. Seems like a great hand to keep. I'm gonna start off with Stormchaser's talent and get an Otter. Mono red? Is that what we're playing against? Grim Bauble. We got the concession. We got the concession. HTQ says, I am not dealing with it. I'm going to bounce myself out of here. Gabby. Gabby. Seems like a fine hand. This seems like a fantastic hand. Ah, yeah. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. Did Gabby bring out the goblins? Gabby the Goblin? Gabby the Goblin, huh? Squee. No blocks. You got me. Nowhere to run is a good one for Squee. We're gonna do it now. Just in case they have any buffs. I'm not sure what a mono red goblin deck would run in standard. But we definitely don't want to get in bigger. I'm sorry? Okay, things have haste. They're doing things. I don't know what's happening. Other goblins you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 goblin creature token. It attacks a Fable. Max speed, add red for each goblin you control. Okay. Exhaust, discard up to 2 cards, then draw the main cards, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay, I'm going to start needing some stuff that are not lands. Okay. Okay. Alright, well, we're going to do nothing. They have the mana to exhaust. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and kill this. We do not need Krenko getting haste. I will block whatever you attack me with. Bet that. We need to find a way to kill Krenko. You got it, buddy. That's a way to kill Krenko. Alright, we're gonna do that now. We're gonna pass the turn back. Gabby the Goblin's kind of scary. Here's another one of those things. That's fine. We have a 2/3 to block now. We're gonna play Squee. Yep. Okay. Yep. I will block Squee if you attack with Squee. Yeah, you might as well get the damage in. I'm gonna block Squee. I will block Squee. 100%. That's what I thought. No hesitation. Give me something. That's good. See, this is what I'm talking about, deck. Alright, let's go ahead and play this. We're gonna go ahead and play that. We're gonna get our... Yeah, let's get our Nowhere to Run. We're gonna go ahead and kill the heavy. Because I don't like the fact that he can make all this mana, and I don't like the fact that he can give all his goblins haste. We're just gonna pass the turn. We got blockers. They play a land. We're just gonna play another squee. You got the mana, you might as well do it. Nothing. Hopeless Nightmare. That's in... Yeah, that's in exile. Okay. Hopeless Nightmare does absolutely nothing. We're going to go ahead and level up, get back our Go for the Throat. So we have an answer for Squee now. Yeah, we're just gonna pass. We gotta play safe against mono red decks. This thing can go wide real quick if we do not protect ourselves. I mean, I'll block it. Okay. Block and block. There's 8 cards in graveyard, so they can bring back both squeeze. We're gonna need... Why did they exile the other squee? I don't think they meant to do that. It doesn't make sense to do that. We'll hold on to the Go for the Throat. Alright, this is what we're gonna do. We're going to go ahead... We gotta get damage through. So we're gonna go ahead and attack with a bird. We're gonna level this up to level 3. We're gonna play a Hopeless Nightmare. Hopeless Nightmare does not get me the otter that I thought it did. Hopefully we're not dead. Alright, that's fine. They drew a land. We got the Gale Out Jail free card. You might as well attack. Get your 3 damage in. Has he played any burn spells? He has not. This kind of is a burn spell, sort of, I guess. Yep. Alright, we also got to be cautious that they are at full speed, so they can give creatures haste. This is not what I'm needing. Alright. We're going to play this. We're going to pass the turn. It's 4 other cards, right? Yeah, okay. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn... Yep, okay. So we're going to have to make sure we kill that. And we get a otter. So we can literally clear his board. We are going to let him attack, though, with everything. Yep. Alright. Alright, we got away with taking no damage there. And we're going to go ahead and... Yep. We're going to go ahead and crack this Hopeless Nightmare. Try and find some answers. This town ain't big enough is perfect. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this now before things get silly. Alright, so we're gonna grab back a Nowhere to Run and a Grim Bauble. We're gonna play the Grim Bauble. And they concede. GG opponent, Gabby the Goblin. You kind of scared me there. Holy moly. I was not expecting a bunch of goblins to be like, "Blah!" in my face. But we bounced them away.